Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 44th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. We're getting up there, man.
We're just pumping it out.
We're doing pretty well here. if I do say so myself, let's have a pat on the back here. Thank you.
Pat of myself because he doesn't support me in anything.
Here we talk about movies, TV shows, bunch of nonsense. My name is Benedict. You probably know me better as BHL Hudson. Here with me, as always, is my friend, co-host, man bun having friend, Frederick.
Hello. It's good to be back.
It is. It's not like we just stopped recording a few seconds ago, the previous
Honestly,
episode.
I'm impressed with our work speed and dedication. There it is again.
There's the pat on the back that we so desperately deserve. So today, I thought, with the Kingsman coming up in September,
Oh, right.
I thought we would talk about... We already talked about Kingsman 1. This time, I want to talk about Kingsman 3.
Surprise.
We're going to talk about Kingsman: The Golden Circle, the hotly anticipated sequel.
And
that
very
was
disappointing.
hot garbage when it came out.
God, it was just... Well, did people hate it as much as we hated it?
I think actually quite a lot of people liked it, but it was a bit divisive.
People are strange.
I see... We're going to... By the way, spoilers, real quick.
Yeah.
I can see... I've actually, for the first time in the pod's history, I've actually taken some notes here.
Oh.
So, I didn't actually rewatch it, but I
Need to rename, rebrand.
to the extremely planned podcast.
To the plan.
The meticulously planned. So, yeah, I can see why people would like it, because it is still... And, to be honest, I still like some parts of it.
No, that's fair.
I think there's still quite a bit of creative direction here, and, like, it's... You know, you can tell it has, like, a vision behind it.
Yeah.
You know, Matthew
A
Vaughn.
WandaVision behind it.
Oh, what a throwback to
God.
mere seconds ago.
Last week's episode.
There's some decent action, and there are some funny moments, like when Merlin and Eggsy get drunk. I've written here, Merlin, Eggsy drunk, funny moment, question mark?
Question mark? Was it funny? I don't know.
It was
but
pretty
I think it was
funny.
supposed to be funny. I also, I liked, got to see a bit more Merlin, and also his death was honestly quite sad.
We'll get to... I have some things to say about the Merlin death, but how dare they? But, I mean, we can talk about it now. Merlin's death.
Can's empty. Can's empty.
Does he say that?
Does he remember he freezes the foot?
Yeah. It's the only thing he does in this movie.
But then he's like, can's, just in the can, he's like, can's empty.
Why
he
do you
breaks out into song.
For no reason. I mean, I think...
Empty.
It's not a moment.
It is a moment.
He
goes, can's empty.
The Merlin death, I think, was, it didn't really feel...
real to me. He can't be gone. He's like a father to me.
I've never recovered since then. I don't know, it didn't feel earned, if that makes sense. I think the way it's done, first of all, is a little bit odd. Like...
It is a little bit over the top.
Like, the way he sings is, like, it feels more, like, you can kind of, instead of it feeling like how it's supposed to feel if Merlin, like, this is his final moment, he's going out with a bang, it feels sort of like someone told him, like, okay, start singing. Like, strong.
Right, strong, give me your best song right now. The strong song.
And then also, in terms of it not really feeling earned, like, they do develop him a little bit more in this, but, like, I don't know, not to the point where... Like, it felt more like, I was like, I would love to see him in more movies, rather than, like, this sort of death that feels a little bit cheap of him. Like, I feel like you could, if you did a Merlin, I love Merlin. If you did a Merlin death right, I would never recover.
But here I recovered immediately. I was recovering as it was happening. I was like, get on with it, strong.
So, I don't know, I
thought it was done decently well. Also how he, like, looks back, can's empty. And then, and how, like, as he's singing, he, like, makes eye contact, and then
the can
Eggsy
refills
dabs,
itself.
and
First starts just dancing in the background. It's a whole musical number.
Firth runs onto the landmine and kills them both before any of the bad guys come.
Before he can finish his song.
Almost.
It's so miserable. I don't know. I think it's why we spent like 5 minutes talking about Merlin's death. Let's see.
Arguably, that is one of the most important and memorable
moments of the 21st century.
Like memorable moments in that movie.
No, that's fair. Speaking of not memorable moments, the princess storyline.
God, that was
Not
so
a fan.
that was so stupid.
I don't know. I think
I thought it's just like a fun little gimmick at the end, but now like a lot of what he does is like based on her.
And the thing is, like, if it was there, it's not that it's like in itself that it's bad. In fact, like the scene where he talks to the Queen of Sweden or whatever, and the King, like that's kind of funny moment, question mark.
But Merlin actually drunk, question mark.
But in general, yeah, it plays like a big role in the film, especially like the big like emotional ending. They get married.
Yeah, it's like
it doesn't feel like it's.
There's no oomph to it.
Also, they don't have great chemistry either.
Really do not.
Yeah, like I think they wanted to have like a personal stake for when like because she smokes weed or something, and then she gets like paralyzed with a drug thing.
Yeah.
But they could have like they had that in the first film with his mom where she was trying to kill the baby, and that was like very effective because it was like quite like visceral and intense. Whereas this one, like obviously you don't want like the princess to die, but like you don't care in the same way, because it's not developed that
Honestly,
well.
I didn't really like her, so I would not have cared at all.
I was cheering for her. What do you think of Firth coming back?
I don't know. I love a good Firth. And
I'm glad he's back.
I'm glad he's back, but I don't know, the way they did it again seemed a little cheap.
I mean, they cured death basically.
Yeah, but like they shot him in the freaking face, and then they just healed him immediately.
Jackson just took his eye out, and
just boom.
They shoot Pedro in the face as well, and he comes back, and
it's
Firth.
Classic Firth. Yeah, and to be fair, Pedro is I think he's one of the better characters. No.
I think he's okay. I think in the action scenes he works excellently. I think the best action scene in the whole film is
like when he's out
he's in the snow.
In the snow, yeah.
That's the one action scene in the movie that I thought I think a lot of the action, like the finale's pretty good, the first scene's pretty good.
I think the finale, because they've got the very unique kind of like where it follows. Yeah. Like, and I like that stuff. I think in the finale it just got a bit overdone, and you just got a little. I agree. Little confused.
Especially Pedro's last scene gets a bit like they could have shot it. They didn't have to do every single scene that way, Yeah. But I do think that action scene in the snow is the only one that almost like matches up with the first one. Like it would be.
I like his lasso.
Whew. Yes, excellent lasso. I've written here Pedro betrayal. That's one of my notes. What do you think of that? Again, one of the most pivotal moments of the 21st century.
The can is empty, and Pedro's betrayal.
The can is. You know what? We're pulling this up. Merlin can scene. They're not. The title's not going to be "The Can Is Empty."
Position.
All right.
You move. We die. Make it as a bonus.
Oh, actually, I think I do remember when he.
No, go on. To
be fair.
Here it comes.
What the fuck have you done? Our journey together began many years ago.
Go on.
Began with a mistake I made. Give me the can. That's an order. Can's empty.
Can's empty.
Well.
Sun's out, buns out. Can's empty.
That's what he says. Okay, shoot the dog. That's how they get Firth back. They make him shoot the dog.
All right.
It's a pretty great moment where, like, especially if you hadn't seen the first film, I'm sure they reference it, but if you hadn't seen the first film, Muggsy just hands him a dog, and he's like, oh, what a dog. And then you just see Muggsy slowly raising a pistol to the dog's head.
Firth has a weird butterfly high moment. Like all the butterflies come alive.
Because before he became a super spy, he wanted to study butterflies.
God.
So yeah, and then he's reverted to his old state. I have one. We're kind of all over the place here, even though I did try to take notes. But I have one important question.
Yes.
That will tie this whole thing together. Tatum.
The can was empty. Whatever you're about to ask, the can was empty, and that's all I had to say.
The can of Tatum's acting was certainly emptied in this movie.
God, I thought we were gonna see a lot more Tatum, but he shoots a freaking barrel of whiskey, and then he just smokes some weed and dies. Doesn't die.
I think doesn't he do cocaine?
Is it cocaine? Well, isn't it the same thing that the princess?
Yeah, but it's not. She smokes weed, but it's just like drugs in general.
Is it drugs in general?
So I've written the 3 things that are defining about his character. That dog don't hunt, and other random southern phrases that I don't think are actually real, but they just made up for this.
That Tatum just made up on the spot. Yeah. They weren't even He wasn't supposed to.
He's playing a different character. Dance. He does a little Tatum
He does
dance.
a dance.
And cocaine. Which
And he does a
little. So, I think there's also kind of wasted talent with like certain actors in this, like Jeff Bridges, Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Don't really get much interesting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry, especially, she has a character arc in sort of the loosest sense of the word, because it's very bare bones and doesn't really feel like it's developed properly at all.
Mm-hmm. Should we also talk about how they just killed off
Roxy
yeah,
and JB the dog
and JB for James Bond? No, Justin. Was it Justin Bieber? Wait, what was it for?
Jack Bauer.
Oh,
Justin. Why would he name his dog after Justin Bieber
I don't know. Jack Bauer.
from 24?
Why?
Shoot the dog.
The can is empty.
Alright, we found the iconic line from the first movie is shoot the dog, and the iconic line from the second movie is the can's empty.
Can's empty. Gotta say it with that bravado as well.
Yeah, that only strong can muster for such a line. I do think it's an interesting premise with the Statesman, but I don't think it's expanded on very
No, yeah.
creatively or interestingly.
And then at the end, where you actually have the chance to expand on it, freaking Tatum just switches sides and becomes British.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's talk about Tatum in a top hat and like a suit. He looks like a
Like
Have
a
you
soft
seen-
potato.
that too. Have you seen Spy Kids?
I haven't. Thumbman.
Doesn't he look kind of like
That is horrendous.
he look kind of like
Very accurate.
the thumb from? If you gave this thumb a top hat, wouldn't it look like Tatum? Actually, his thumb isn't wearing anything like suit. Like I'm just saying, Tatum looks
No, I
like
see
a
it. I see
giant thumb. I'm sorry, Tatum, for listening. I don't mean it.
He does listen regularly.
I kind of mean it.
What about the villain?
Yeah, let's talk about Julianne Moore.
God,
I
I hated her as a villain.
think she could have done a bit Julianne less. I finally made one. It's been 44 episodes of you making horrendous puns.
I'm so proud of you.
I made it.
You've stooped down to my
I did it,
level.
Mom.
Come on, it's brilliant. It'll be more than 91 views this time.
I have to say, with that, I do find it like tragic, but
And kind of offensive.
bro, we brought the pod back, and y'all are giving us a stinky 91. The thing is, though, what's funny is that like, maybe this is kind of sad, but like genuinely, I would just do this for the two of us.
No,
like,
I would, if we got 5 views, and
If it's
5
only-
of them was my mother, I would still do it.
if it was only us listening to it, I would do it. So sorry, guys, you can't get rid of us that easily.
Yeah, please. You think not watching us will get us to go away?
Think that'll depress us when we go to sleep at night?
It won't. It's not.
Oh my god. So anyway, yeah, Moore. She's fine. I don't think she's not as memorable or
She is
fun
so-
as Jackson.
No, Jackson is a really good villain. I think she is so like
Her-
he's over the top, but like in a way that works. She's just so also the way she dies is like, oh, I'm like, Julian, can you give us less acting and more death faster?
That's yeah. I remember you screaming that at the screen when we saw
and I
this.
threw my shoe at it. It broke the cinema.
The whole thing collapsed. We were in the Supreme Hall as well.
The Supreme Hall does not sound like a cinema room. It sounds like some Korean sauna.
Anyway, yeah, I think her plan is also very convoluted, and Jackson's plan was convoluted.
Yeah, but again,
made-
it like the first one did not take itself seriously, and I don't think the
No,
second
yeah.
one does either. But it gets so
it's more
goofy.
confused. Like it's
Yeah.
more. The second one, I wrote here, feels kind of gross and not as fun as the first film. Like just watching it, it has a general vibe of just like, ugh. You know, like I was just watching it, I was like, ew.
No, it just doesn't work.
I don't know. Yeah, like the whole. Also, there's a music festival scene, which I think is trying to be like the end of the first film, but again, it's just more like. It's not really funny.
No.
It's more kind of just and like the camera. Like, is the camera going into her vagina supposed to be funny, or
when he like
yeah,
fingers her to get the chip in or
the tracker? Which also like it's also more convoluted than like you
It's
could
it's literally just them wanting to get Eggsy some action.
Also, yeah, they say like put it in a mucous membrane. Can you just like stick it up her nose or something?
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be the guy from the first movie who now has a robot arm. It's his girlfriend. And they see each other at the facility like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, what happens at Glastonbury stays at I'm like, ugh.
God.
I don't know. It feels so much more... This movie feels a bit like an inside joke, if you know what I mean.
That no one understands, including the people who made it.
Like, it feels more... Which, by the way, is rich coming from us, considering this podcast...
Yeah, it's 90%
literally
inside jokes.
No one else probably enjoys listening to this. It's just for us. But, like... But we're not making a movie here.
Please.
This is a poorly planned.
Get over yourself.
We have free reign. But, like, yeah, it feels so... I don't know, so, like... It's like such a mess. Like, they tried, like, 1,000 different things. They want to put, like, everything in there.
It is a bit of in the same way, but also a different way. Bit of a Suicide Squad. They put so much different stuff in.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't fit. It doesn't stick.
No, it's messy and it's like it's all over the place. And
Should we talk about the messiest and the most all over the place thing in this movie, which is the multiple appearances by Elton John.
I had a note about that, but I've forgotten about it even now. That's horrendous. That's
It's
one of
so
the most
unfunny.
awful things I've ever seen in my life.
I've got so much love for Elton.
I love Elton.
But what the hell was he doing? At first, I didn't even realize it was him because he looked very short and chubster in it, didn't he?
That's how he always looks.
No, but he's a bit more stylish. I don't know.
He was stylish. He had like his Muppet outfit on or whatever. Remember that?
Didn't he have wasn't he like dressed as like an ostrich?
Yeah, that was his
Like
Muppet outfit.
like a colorful ostrich. Like how?
I don't know.
Did he do this for the paycheck or what?
No, I think they got him in because they thought it'd be funny. And like, to be fair, again, big hypocrisy because when looking at it, I was kind of thinking like, this seems kind of like a joke we would make.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we wouldn't put it in a.
But we would have executed it better.
Like, we wouldn't.
But we wouldn't have messed it up so badly.
I feel like on this podcast we'd be like, oh yeah, and then Elton John like jumps up and hits someone with a piano or something, and then we would laugh for 40 minutes, and that would be the whole episode. But we wouldn't actually like put it in a $200 million movie, because then it's sort of like, and then he like, yeah, the way they interject him, and he's just always cursing, and like, that's funny. Like it doesn't. Again,
Yeah.
that's a part that feels a lot like an inside joke. Like it feels like someone on set was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if Elton John did this?" And they're like, "Oh, shit, I have $200 million right here. Let's
That's
go get
so
him."
fun.
Yeah, let's get Elton in. And then like,
Doesn't he also like for the weak old like 65, 70-year-old man he is? Doesn't he kill like one of the most badass villains?
I mean, that's supposed to be funny again, but it just also
just-
that ruins that whole action. Like I go back and watch action scenes from Kingsman daily. No, like pretty like occasionally like I'll be like, oh, I want to see that action scene, and like I've tried to go back and watch that last action scene because it does have some really cool moments, and then it cuts to Elton John fighting some guy on a piano, and I'm like,
yeah. Also, it's the robotic dog he kills, and then like he repeatedly into the camera
he
goes,
saves first.
"You puppy, you puppy." It's so stupid.
It's pretty. Yeah, and like that's the thing. He plays like a pivotal role in this. Like Firth would have died if Elton John was not in this movie.
Yeah, like
There's
most
also
definitely.
there's also a moment where Muggsy like triumphantly neck snaps the villain. Remember that? Which
yeah.
like I guess like fits for like I mean they are cold hard killers these guys, but it was a little bit of a weird moment where it's like this like triumphant music swell. He's like, this is for Merlin and for Roxy, and like it's kind of weird when that's followed by just like a neck snap.
Yeah.
Like it's not very like heroic, I guess. I don't know.
A kick to the balls would have done better.
that'd be so much
This
more
is-
Muggsy style.
This is for Merlin, my governor.
Oh, I mean, Merlin kind of killed himself, if we're being real here.
Yeah,
Like, the can was empty, but, like, they could have waited for more can, you
can
know?
was empty. They could have waited for more can.
I mean, there's a lot, I took a lot of notes here, but, by the way, we already did an episode on this when it came out.
Yeah, so can you guys like get off our back?
I made a review, so if you want in-depth stuff, go watch that.
Watch this video.
Rewatch this pod many times. Overall thoughts on Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I think
It's not very good.
it's not without merit. It has some good moments, and like I think it's still good cast, and I think it works well if you've. It doesn't work well, but like it works better when you've seen the first one. You love the first one because like you already like these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But on its own, it's a bit of a mess, and the visual effects are terrible for a lot of it. I'm gonna give it. There's a bunch of stuff we didn't even talk about in these notes I've got here. We did get to Channing and Top Hat though. So
We did,
I'm
so
glad.
I think that's like the most important thing to talk about.
It's probably like a 4 out of 10.
I'd give it like a 3 or a 4. It was.
Yeah, not the best. But I understand why people like it. If you just put it on, it can be some mindless fun, I suppose. But not for intellectuals like us.
Just before we end this, I'll give you, I guess it's credit to you
Oh.
But
Oh.
before I started this, before I met you,
Oh.
I was lost. No.
I can tell. That's why I took you in.
No. It was like I watched so many movies. I watched Jack and Jill, and I was like, this is a decent movie. I did not watch movies at all, like analytically
Like a
or
cynical
critically.
asshole.
Yeah. And now you've ruined movies for me. I would have enjoyed this movie if it weren't for you.
Yeah,
But
that's what I do. I take the
you've
joy
given
out of
me a
everything.
much more analytical approach to movies, which
That's
I both enjoy and kind of despise.
and it's kind of ruined my life.
So take that how you will.
I will. I'll choose to take that as the biggest compliment
All right, well, there
you
you
could
go.
ever give me. But yeah, no, that's what I do. I ruin things, but also make them infinitely more
Worse.
boring. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Since we only got one comment,
Please. The casino.
I thought that was a good pod.
I thought it was pretty good. We talked about Craig's nut whipping. And that is not a food. It is a torture scene. You monsters.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, BHL Hudson. No. Wait. YouTube, BHL Hudson. Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com.
You can find me on Instagram at fdalagard. You can find me on YouTube at FTK space gaming. And you can find me on Twitter at FTK_adultsniper.
There we go.
It is what it is.
Thank you for listening.
And we'll see you next time. Boom, boom, chicka wow.